Good evening, and thank you for joining us. My name is Kendra Parson, and I'll be facilitating tonight's virtual college night. Before we begin, I want to go over a few items. If you have questions, please put them in the chat section, and we will address them in a follow-up email. Closed captioning is being provided, and tonight's session will be recorded. The recorded sessions, along with any material shared, will be posted on our website, floridashines.org. Finally, we are live on Twitter, so feel free to share your comments and connect with us at FLShines. Now, without further ado, let's begin the Counselor Focus session. First, we have Helen Lancaster with an overview of DOE tools. Helen serves as the Secondary School Counseling Consultant for the State of Florida's High School Counseling and Student Progression Area in the Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services from the Florida Department of Education. She's an expert in the field with extensive experience in the Florida education system. Welcome, Helen.
Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for attending our presentation today. We will be talking about secondary student progression. Our first slide is our Florida Standards area, known as cpoms.org. This website is very helpful. It provides course descriptions, standards, and benchmarks. It certainly is a very helpful tool when looking at information you might need to assist with transferring student records, out-of-state students, private schools. Refer to this, the arrow is pointing to the course descriptions and directory. The FloridaStudents.org website is designed for students as a supplement to classroom instruction. This site contains over 200 high-quality, standard-focused tutorials in all ELA, mathematics, science, and civics areas. This is designed exclusively for the use by students and for our parents. It's an excellent tool to also share during parent conferences. At the top, you will see an arrow pointing to the free SAT practice website, which is provided by the College Board and the Khan Academy. Our standard diploma options are listed for you. We have a 24-credit pathway, an 18-credit pathway, or an ACE or IB curriculum pathway. This chart delineates our standard graduation requirements by subject area, beginning with students who have entered high school grade 9 in the 13-14 school year and forward. Under the Resources tab, we have uploaded a academic advisement flyer for the current 9th grade 16-17 cohort year, containing a lot of additional information regarding credit acceleration programs, our state university systems admissions requirements, state colleges, bright futures, and other information. This year, we're proud to say that all of our students enrolled in high school, grades 9 through 12, are following these same academic course requirements under the 24-credit option. Let's take a look at our comparison between the 24-credit and the 18-credit program options. The differences include the 18-credit option requires 5 less electives, does not require an online course, it does not require 1 credit of physical education with integration of health. When a student is considering applying to a Florida Public State University and they are graduating under the 18-credit Excel option, it's important to advise that we have a competitive admissions process. So students that graduate under the 18-credit option are being evaluated with their academic history, the same as the 24-credit option. The rigor of the courses are looked at strongly, as well as the performance in those courses. Our high school graduation flyers are posted at our graduation requirements webpage and are a handy tool available in Spanish and Haitian Creole translation. In addition to the 24-credit program we highlighted in the prior slide, we have two additional pathways, options for students with disabilities. One option is for students who have significant cognitive disabilities, earning credit via access courses, and being assessed via an alternate assessment. The second option for students with disabilities is called the academic and employment option, where students must earn at least a half a credit via paid employment. I want to direct your attention to our Secondary Transition for Students with Disabilities webpage, linked here. Wendy Meddy is our Secondary Transition Specialist. And on this webpage, you'll find a helpful graduation requirements online training module with 2 additional technical assistance papers, one related to the high school graduation options and for students with disabilities, and the other one, the waiver of the statewide assessment results for students with disabilities. Detailed questions and answers are provided. Our state assessment requirements, as outlined on the academic advisement flyers, includes that we require passage of the grade 10 ELA or a concordance score, ACT, SAT. We require passage of the Algebra 1 end-of-course exam, or a student may earn a comparative score on the PERT. Students who are enrolled in the courses listed from Algebra 1 down to Geometry must have their final course grade, including the final EOC results, at 30%. This slide indicates the required concordance scores, if used, for the SAT, the old SAT, the new SAT, and the ACT for reading. And again, this is all outlined in the link below in the graduation requirements for Florida's statewide assessment. This does include information for students who graduated in prior years, and if a student has a certificate of completion and wishes to present a ACT or an SAT test score to meet that old FCAT reading requirement, it's available in this document. Our online course graduation requirement is still intact. Students must take at least one course within the 24 via online learning. But keep in mind, students do not need to meet this requirement if they're under an ACE or an IB curriculum path or the 18-credit Excel path. With the 2016 legislative session, we see an expansion with 2 additional options to meet the online course requirement. One is if a student completes a course in which a student earns a nationally recognized industry certification in information technology, or if they pass the information technology exam without enrollment or completion in the course. The second new option is if they pass an online content assessment, which the student, in fact, would demonstrate their skills and competency in locating information and other items. The type of online assessment is determined by the school's district. We continue to provide the credit acceleration program. Students who take one of the courses listed that trigger the EOC without completion of the course or enrollment in the course can earn course credit. The 2016 legislative session added 2 additional options. Now a student may earn high school credit without the requirement of enrolling in or completing the course through the passage of an advanced placement examination or a CLEP examination. The CLEP examination course names corresponding to the CLEP exams were added to the 912 section of the 1617 Florida Course Code Directory. Here are some samples that you can see here. For students who graduate in the 16-17 school year or later, a grade of T is recorded on the transcript in the grade column. And T is used for both AP CAP credit, EOC CAP credit, and CLEP credit. This is a link to the database manual with more details. We've also uploaded under Resources, Secondary Student Progression, Frequently Asked Questions, which you can see the variety of topics that it covers. I encourage you to familiarize yourself with this document as a resource, and it's located at the Graduation Requirements webpage as well. Here is a link to our dual enrollment frequently asked questions. All students in grades 6 through 12 12 who meet eligibility requirements must be allowed to participate. Students are exempt from tuition and fees. The dual enrollment FAQs do provide clarification on the award of high school credit for career dual enrollment courses. The equivalency list is posted. These are the requirements for the Scholar Diploma designation for students in the 14-15 cohort and forward. Those are your students in grades 9 through 11, as outlined here and detailed on the academic advisement flyer. If a student passes an industry certification, then they may also receive a merit diploma designation. This is coded and will be printed on the student's high school transcript on the cumulative summary page. The Florida Bright Futures Scholarship Program has remained unchanged for 17 grads. As always, refer to the 16-17 Bright Futures Student Handbook for eligibility requirements. Encourage your students to apply for the Florida Financial Aid application. That window opened up October 1st. New for Bright Futures, there is a Gold Seal CAPE Scholars Award, so students may use this award to fund a career education or certificate program with 60 additional credit hours toward a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Applied Science. There's also an expansion of the scholarship award length. High school grads may now choose to defer their scholarship award upon completion of a full-time religious or service obligation lasting at least 18 months. Refer to the Bright Futures Handbook. We've also uploaded under the Resource tab the Florida Counseling for Future Education Handbook. We want to draw your attention to the high school special case equivalencies, now listed as an appendix item. Also, the high school courses that satisfy requirements for state university system admission are included as an appendix item, along with your 16-17 career and technical contact information, posted also at the graduation requirements webpage. I invite you to send your questions to me, or you may contact me via email or telephone as listed. Wishing you all a wonderful conclusion to first semester, a very successful school year, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Helen, for providing a great overview on the tools available through the Florida Department of Education. Next, we will hear from Kathleen Taylor as she gives an overview on career and technical education resources. Kathleen Taylor is the Chief for the Bureau of Standards, Benchmarks, and Frameworks within the Division of Career and Adult Education at the Florida Department of Education. Ms. Taylor's prior experience includes working as a career and technical specialist with Fairfax County Public Schools, as Associate Director for Professional Development with the Association for Career and Technical Education, and as an English teacher in South Korea. I'm sure you're all ready to hear about the career and technical educational resources, so I will ask Ms. Taylor to take over.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Kendra. It's a pleasure to be with you to discuss post-secondary opportunities available in school districts, perhaps your own or in a neighboring district. My presentation will briefly highlight occupational data and educational levels required for such careers. I'll also focus on affordability, admissions and registration, student benefits, and I'll wrap up with industry certification attainment as an exit point to high-wage, high-skill, high-demand careers, or an entry point to continued study at the associate degree level. So to put this within the context, Florida's school district technical centers and colleges are just one part of Florida's public post-secondary superhighway. And as you can see from this illustration and the highway metaphor, there are multiple entry points and exit points with seamless articulation mechanisms built in to allow student progression based on the interests of students and the needs of Florida's economy. Florida's 48 technical centers and colleges offer post-secondary career and technical programs that train for occupations that are in demand by the state and regional economy. These are certificate programs that range from healthcare to information technology to aviation to manufacturing. The certificate programs that are offered are not developed in isolation in Tallahassee, but rather developed locally in response to the regional marketplace. And operating behind the scenes are strong partnerships consisting of the local economic development entity, the local workforce development board, and the private and public post-secondary institutions, helping our students connect with current and emerging careers. Apologize for the time delay. I'm having a little bit of an issue advancing my slides. Bear with me. Well, moving along, I seem to be having issues advancing my slides. Perhaps somebody on the line can take over for me.
Yes, we're going to take over for you on the advancing the slides.
Thank you very much. And moving on now, I was just talking about the targeted program offerings. And these targeted program offerings are both bolstered by national and state occupational forecasts that really compel us to think differently about the traditional college advising narrative, one that considers viability of job prospects at completion or graduation, as well as an opportunity for advanced study at the associate degree level and or baccalaureate degree level and beyond. An analysis from Georgetown University's Center on Education and the Workforce indicates that within a mere 3 years, 65% of all jobs in Florida are going to require some level of post-secondary education beyond high school. As such, career certificates are an important first credential step on the post-secondary ladder or upon earning the high school diploma. Next slide, please. So when we move our attention to data related to Florida's growth occupation, it is forecast that 66% of Florida's fastest growing occupations will require a certificate or an associate degree. Career certificate, also known as PSAV certificates, can be earned in our district technical centers and colleges and at many of our state colleges within the Florida college system. The length of program time varies from 6 months to 2 years. And moving to the next slide, we're going to take a little deeper dive here. We've provided a snapshot of these occupations, and this information is available to you through the Labor Market Statistics Center at the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. This chart details the projected growth through 2023, the average hourly earnings associated with these growth occupations, and the level of education necessary to become employed in this field. We'll look at the next slide as well. And while there are just a few low-skill jobs that may not require a high school diploma in this example, 5 actually, there are none for which a high school diploma is required. And the majority of these positions, 66% of them, require post-secondary education at the certificate or degree level. I'll draw your attention to the yellow highlight at the bottom of this slide. Moving on to the next slide. Are you interested in learning about the fastest growing occupations in your region? Well, in addition to these statewide lists that I've shared with you, you can even build your own local report that details fastest growing occupations in your region and details the level of education required in order to be employed. This makes an excellent resource for you that you can provide to students and parents to better inform themselves as they make really important decisions about the next steps after high school graduation. So on the next slide, let's take a look now at an example of what an actual career pathway looks like. with various education levels represented. This example illustrates nursing and all the stackable credentials associated with the profession. As you can see, the pathway begins on the left side and identifies the entry point of the nursing profession, which is called licensed practical nurse. Students must complete an approved certificate program of 1,350 hours and pass the state licensure examination. The LPN certificate program is available in our district technical centers and colleges. Upon completion, students may exit and enter the workforce or progress along the pathway and move on to the next level of study, the associate's degree in nursing, available in the Florida college system. Upon completion or graduation, students may then exit into the workforce or continue on in the pathway at the baccalaureate degree level with advanced study in nursing, either available in the Florida college system or the state university system. On the next slide, we present to you another view of the road to careers in nursing. This particular slide incorporates the nursing assistant occupation, and you can see the educational levels that are required for the various occupations in nursing, and then the wages associated. We gathered this data from ONET. The advantage of building career certificate programs into a larger occupational pathway is that students can begin work in their profession and earn while learning about the next level in that pathway, a little at a time and without taking on so much debt. And moving to the next slide, I've provided another vantage point that I want to share that couples certificate training programs with industry certification attainment or licensure attainment and the wages associated with the coupling of these two. You may be thinking that students and parents are not aware of the opportunities that are available through district technical centers and colleges, and if so, please consider advising students who might be interested in these programs to preview them as a high school student through dual enrollment. Your school district likely has a dual enrollment articulation agreement with the local technical center or college. If you're uncertain, please reach out to your district career and technical education director or your technical center or college director, who can provide more information to you about this. And moving on to the next slide. Just like our public college and universities, certificate programs in technical centers are considered an excellent value relative to other states. At $2.33 per clock hour, a 600-hour program would be approximately $1,400 for residents, plus some discretionary institutional fees. Please note that our districts do have statutory authority to assess 5% below or above the standard rate of tuition identified in the statute. In addition, residency determinations are made, and students who are not otherwise statutorily exempt pay out-of-state fees. And since these are occupational training programs, students may need to purchase tools or uniforms, pay for background checks, pay for licensure exams, or industry certification exams. Moving on to the next slide. Just like degree programs, many certificate programs qualify for federal financial aid in the form of Pell Grant, federal work study, as well as veterans educational benefits. In addition, many state and local scholarships are available to students who qualify. Now, moving on to the next slide, briefly want to tell you a little bit about the admissions and registration process. Florida's district technical centers and colleges are open access institutions, as there is no admissions test requirement. Each institution has its own admissions and registration process, but most generally require a meeting with a counselor advisor, require students, potential students, to attend a program orientation to get a thorough understanding of what's required to successfully graduate from the program and become employed, or what's required to move on to advanced study at the associate and science degree level. Additionally, on the next slide, in some cases there may be program exit requirements for students who do not meet an exemption in Florida statute. Again, all of this information is provided during the registration process. On the next slide, we talk about the fact that our district technical centers provide many flexible schedules and benefits. These are student-centered institutions that cater to the needs of their community and provide a host of other benefits. They operate year-round, offer day, evening, and some weekend courses. They provide extensive career advisement and placement. They're accredited through the Council on Occupational Education, and some hold additional accreditation through SACS. And many of the individual certificate programs are also accredited through their respective national association or organization representing the occupation. On the next slide, you'll recall the post-secondary superhighway slide that I shared earlier with its multiple entry points and exit points. As such, I want to highlight another student benefit. They may serve as either an off-ramp or an on-ramp, depending on the needs of the individual student. And that has to do with industry certification on the next slide. The benefit of industry certification or licensure cannot be underscored enough. They are the standard bearer used to verify really predetermined knowledge, skills, and abilities pertaining to specific subject matter of an occupation. And they are rapidly becoming required to gain entry into the workplace, along with the traditional post-secondary training. A large majority of our certificate programs available in the technical centers and colleges prepare students to successfully pass these certifications, and as such, students can add these to their portfolio if they're looking for immediate employment after graduation, if they're going to go on the off-ramp. In this scenario, students might be exiting the pathway with an additional credential that will only serve them well with their employment endeavors. And on the next slide, however, some students may decide to pursue advanced study at the associate degree level. As such, our technical centers have local agreements with their local state colleges to seamlessly grant advanced standing into corresponding degree programs without duplication of technical coursework. In addition, another benefit associated with earning an industry certification is that it might be part of a statewide agreement that guarantees a minimum number of credits into a corresponding AS or AAS degree. So here's another example of an on-ramp for the student. And lastly, another benefit on the next slide that I'd like to highlight is the opportunity for students to be part of post-secondary career and technical student organizations. From Future Business Leaders of America to Health Occupation Students of America, these time-honored student leadership organizations allow our post-secondary students to compete in local, state, and national competitive events related to their field of study, win scholarships, network with their peers and with potential future employers, and build leadership skills that will serve them well regardless of their future pathway. So to wrap up, I thank you so much for your time. I apologize for the technical difficulty that I was having. And as you can see, career certificates are available in our school districts. They're an important option that's available on Florida's public post-secondary superhighway. Certificates allow students to gain entry into high-skill, high-wage, high-demand occupations that are really critical to Florida's economy. But they're also part of a larger pathway where students can seek advanced post-secondary study at the associate's degree level and beyond. Again, I thank you for this opportunity. I've provided my contact information. Please do not hesitate to contact me if I can provide you additional information about career and technical education opportunities available in our school district technical centers and colleges. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen, and thank you, everybody, for working with us. Now that we understand a little bit more about the resources available to us, let's take a look at the state's college and university systems. We have Dr. Corinda Barrett with us to discuss the Florida college system. As a reminder, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and we will respond via email or following the discussion if time permits. Dr. Corinda Barrett serves as the Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Services within the Division of Florida Colleges. She holds a PhD from Florida State University in Higher Education with a minor and certificate in Open and Distance Learning. Dr. Barrett will provide us with an overview of the Florida college system. Dr. Barrett, can you click next on the slide to begin your show?
Thank you, and yes, I am so happy to be with you this evening. Good evening. I am pleased to have this opportunity to share information with you regarding the Florida college system. So let me begin by thanking you for the work you do to support students as they transition from high school to higher education and on to the workforce. The Florida college system is a pathway for Florida's high school graduates with 3 out of every 5 standard high school diploma recipients, and this is in the year 2012-13, enrolled in Florida higher education in the year 2013-14. So more than 65% of Florida's high school graduates began their post-secondary education at a Florida college system institution. As students are considering their pathway into higher education, time spent determining a major, or what we call a meta major, which is an area of study, ensures students are on the right path for course selection and earning a degree to prepare them for the workforce. Dual enrollment in the Florida college system is a proven way to accelerate completion of a higher education degree. This slide shows you how that acceleration helps out. Dual enrollment was developed in part to provide high school students the opportunity to earn college credits prior to enrolling in college, with the intent to both challenge students academically while also decreasing their time to an associate degree. Florida college system institutions continue to be responsive and innovative to student and community needs. For students who enter with credits earned through dual enrollment acceleration avenues, their time to degree is nearly half of that for students who enter without any college credits earned. It is clearly the case that in Florida, as in the rest of the nation, dual enrollment as an accelerated pathway has proven to be an effective tool to increase college completion. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. This chart indicates the growth of dual enrollment from the 2010-11 year to the 2014-15 year, which is an increase of 18% over 4 years. With the increase in dual enrollment, we want to ensure students are taking the right courses at the right time in their college career. For some students, deciding what to major in can be a challenge. To aid in the selection process, the Florida college system is in the process of implementing the meta majors. Meta major pathways match student interest with broad career categories that lead to degrees, tying passions to professions. 8 meta major pathways streamline the road to a degree and guide students along the pathways. Meta majors were created to advise Florida college system students of the gateway courses that are aligned with their intended academic and career goals. English composition is a gateway course for all meta major academic pathways. The gateway courses for mathematics are aligned with the meta major academic pathways. The math gateway course for business is college algebra or elementary statistics, and the Math Gateway course for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is college algebra. The Math Gateway courses for all other meta major academic pathways are college algebra, liberal arts math 1, liberal arts math 2, or elementary statistics. Students graduating from college system institutions enter the workforce and continue to university in proportional numbers. This slide shows that more than 110 certificates and degrees were earned in 2014-15, and you can see that 50% of those were the AA, that's our transfer degree, and we have a AAS, which is our Applied Associate Science, and the Associates of Science were 14%, certificates were 29%, workforce bachelor's degrees were 6%, EPI, which is our Educator Prep Institute, is 1%, and we had just a few little people there in the college prep program. So I just want to make sure you have that information there. In terms of gateway to the workforce, students graduating from one of the 180, and actually we now have 181 because we had one that was actually passed by the State Board of Education today, and that is a bachelor's degree in aerospace sciences. But we now have these great opportunities, and our baccalaureate degree students are the highest earners, followed by those with the Associates of Science, and then as an Associate of Applied Science. So you can see what a difference it makes to get that degree. Next, I want to talk a little bit about transfer and the SMART choice, which is the 2+2 articulation model. Every Associates in Arts graduate from a Florida college system is guaranteed admissions to the upper division of one of the state universities and awarded 60 hours. 54% of juniors and seniors at Florida state universities came from the Florida college system, and they succeed at rates equal to native students. We're excited about the partnership. There are some partnerships in place. Those include Santa Fe College to the University of Florida, the Golden Guarantee Program, which is Tallahassee Community College to Florida State University, Direct Connect to USF, It's College of Central Florida, Daytona State College, Eastern Florida State College, Lake Sumter State College, Seminole State College of Florida, and Valencia. And then the FUSE program, which is Hillsborough Community College, St. Pete College, and that's guaranteed admission to USF. So we are excited about those opportunities to partner with our state university system institutions and help students go on to earn their baccalaureate degrees and beyond. Next, I want to talk about targeted support for students. In addition to focusing on all students and their success, we do provide targeted support for students transitioning from high school to college. And I'm just going to mention a couple areas. Recently, one of our focus has been on homeless and foster students. We have identified liaisons at each college who are specifically focused on supporting our homeless and foster students. And that's not that they're homeless and foster, but it's the two separate areas. So students who are homeless in the high schools, we definitely want to help them make that transition. And then also a student who has been involved in the foster care system and with DCF, we do want to help them too. We're in the process of developing a website with more resources, including contact information for these liaisons. In 2014-15, Florida college system institutions offered 753 homeless waivers and 3,225 Department of Children and Family waivers, which included former foster students and students who have been adopted or in the care of relatives. We're partnering with other divisions within the Department of Education to ensure a smooth transition and to increase the number of students who go to college. Next, I want to mention disabled student support. Florida college system students with documented disabilities are eligible to receive auxiliary aids and services. Accommodations may include services such as extended time on exams, text in an alternative format, note takers, and sign language interpreters. A little bit different from the high school environment, in order to receive services, students must self-disclose their disability and register with the college's Office of Student Disability Services. Next, I want to share with you the honors programs that are available in the Florida college system. We do offer challenging academic programs for students. Currently, 22 of our 28 institutions offer honors programs, and we are excited that 2 more programs are on the way. Those will be at North Florida State College and Pensacola State College. These programs consist of vibrant, scholarly communities of students, faculty, and staff engaged in discussions, exploration of new ideas, and real-world problems. The competitive advantage of honors degree prepares students to excel in the workforce. The next thing I want to do is share with you some resources. We do have 2 websites. The Department of Education website, we have information there, and we also have the Florida College System website. So let me help you connect with these useful resources. Oops, I jumped a little bit there. Okay, there we go. So if you go to www.floridacollegesystem.com, that is our outward-facing website mostly. This is one that's great to share with students. On here, you will find information regarding the colleges, students, data, publication, news and events, and information about our foundation. The student tab is the one I particularly want to focus on, and this provides information to help students attend the Florida College System institutions. Just let you take a quick peek there. So on this particular web page, you will find information about admissions financial aid, residency programs, transfers, students with disabilities, veterans, and frequently asked questions. The admission page does include links to each institution's admission page, so that's a real easy way. If a student wants to look at a couple different institutions, they could do that rather quickly. And as I mentioned, we have another website. This is our Florida Department of Education website. This one tends to be a little bit more technical, but has some very good information here too. What I want to point out tonight is the college and career readiness link. You will find testing information for each college and high school in Florida here. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to chat with you tonight. I really appreciate it, and if I can provide any assistance, any clarification, my contact information is available to you. Again, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for the opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you, Dr. Barrett. Before we move on to the last session of the evening, I want to remind you that the presentations are being recorded and will be placed on our website, floridashines.org, along with any materials shared. Now that we have an idea of what the Florida College System offers, let's hear about the State University System. Linda Page serves as the Director of Articulation for the State University System. In her role, she serves as the official point person for university admissions and other areas of secondary to post-secondary transition. Coming back to Tallahassee after a combined 20 years in student affairs working at colleges in Georgia and West Virginia, Ms. Page joined the then Florida Board of Regents to serve the university system in 1999. Additionally, since she has joined the state office, she has assisted with the state university system admission directors with their annual admissions tour for middle and high school counselors. Tonight, Ms. Page will use her wealth of information to provide us with an overview of the state university system. Welcome, Ms. Linda Page.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about the state university admissions. I'm not going to get into statistics or anything like that, but strictly focused for the most part on admissions. Also, thank you again, like everybody has said, for all the work you do in order to ensure the future education of your students. I want to apologize up front if you already know a lot of this information. I just want to be sure that our new counselors and professionals new to Florida understand the basics involving our state universities. Generally speaking, students entering state universities, they enter by attending a Florida College System institution and transferring as an Associate of Arts or AA graduate like Dr. Barrett had just spoken on, or by entering the university directly as a first-time and college student, or by transferring from another post-secondary institution or from the Florida College System without the AA. As Dr. Barrett had talked about the AA, Florida actually is nationally recognized for the 2+2 articulation. This is a smooth transition for the Florida College System AA graduate. Admissions to state universities as first-time and college students is pretty highly selective due to space limitations. There are many good students that are unable to be admitted straight out of high school directly to the universities. The Florida College System is a great option for those students, especially since AA graduates are guaranteed admission to a state university, although not necessarily their first choice of institution or degree program. As you may have noticed from a previous slide, there are three avenues really for students to be admitted as a first-time and college student. The vast majority of our students are admitted through what's called standard admissions process. Universities may admit a limited number of students not meeting the standard admissions requirements. And finally, public high school students graduating in the top 20% of their high school class may be admitted through Talented 20. Standard admission includes high school college prep requirements and high school grade point average and test score minimums. This slide reflects the 16 core course requirements and 2 electives for the coursework expectations. Not all of the high school courses taught in English, math, social science, and in the natural sciences are considered eligible as core college prep coursework for SUS admissions. Counselors should check the counseling handbook or the Bright Futures course table to find out whether or not a particular course counts. There's a link there to the Bright Futures course table on the slide there. As noted earlier tonight, the rigor of coursework is a plus in admissions consideration. Students are encouraged to take accelerated mechanisms such as dual enrollment that was previously talked about, or AP, IB, or ACE as appropriate. Also, please know that the math and natural science high school credit earned by industry certification does not count towards SUS admissions, so that, if they earned a high school credit with an industry certification in math, it would not count as one of the 4 math expected for SUS admission. Part of the core requirement is competency at the second level or higher in a world language. This can be achieved by completing the second level course by itself or by taking the first and second courses together. And you can see there's lots of different options, which, based on time, I'm not going to go through. Students who English is a second language can have their foreign language requirement recognized without testing or enrollment. And a limited number of students, as noted here, might be able to be admitted without having completed the 2 or by the second level foreign language class. But they would have to then pick up the coursework as a post-secondary student, which of course adds cost and time to their degree. Okay. As noted before, there are grade point average and test score minimums. Again, these are minimums. Most students enter with a much higher GPA and with higher test scores. Okay. As noted, the majority of students are admitted through the process that was just described, which is the standard admission. And a very limited number of students who don't meet these standards are admitted as profile assessment students. These students may be admitted if, in the judgment of the appropriate university committee, that there is sufficient evidence that the student can be expected to succeed at the institution. I do want to take a moment to talk about Talented 20. The vast majority of the students who eventually qualify as Talented 20 students are probably already admitted by the time they really officially become T20 students. These are the top 20% of their graduating class. They must have taken the SAT or the ACT plus the required coursework. Most apply to the university in the fall or January. There is a group of these students, however, that don't apply early, and they wait until the last minute for admission consideration. They expect that the T20 guarantee will allow them easy access to a state university. The challenge is that by May, June, or July, most universities are already full. They've accepted most, if not all, of their fall class. Students putting off applying to a university may find their choices limited. Please encourage your students to consider all options: Florida College System institutions, state universities, technical centers, private institutions, and apply as early as possible. They should apply to more than one institution, especially if seeking admission to a state university. Students will be able to apply for federal financial aid earlier and should receive financial aid decisions earlier than in previous years. Plus, applying early will assist students in finding better choices in student housing. There may be a few students with disabilities that might need reasonable substitution or modification of a requirement. I know we're running short of time, so I won't go into great detail. These links, though, will be able to provide further documentation of, and information, and feel free to contact me for additional information. Finally, these last few slides, which I'm not going to spend time going through and explaining, are really just suggestions from our admissions officer, admission directors, and it's regarding post-admissions commitment and the senior year rigor, expectations. These are just really for your leisure to go through and at a future time. Here's additional information regarding admissions to state universities. And finally, my contact information is provided on this final slide. And feel free to contact me if you have further questions. I know this was rushed, but I'll be glad to talk to you further. And for all of you are encouraged to, if you have not attended one of the SUS admissions tour event, give me a call or email me, and I'll make sure that you're invited for next fall's event. They're held at area universities, and it's a chance for the directors themselves to come and speak to you all as a group, and a chance for you all individually to meet them at the table. And Helen also attends from the Department of Education to provide the most up-to-date information. Thank you again for your service and the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Page, and thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. This concludes the counselor session. The next is the student session. Don't forget about our hands-on workshops tomorrow focusing on My Career Shines planning tools, FAFSA, your gateway to financial aid, and Complete Florida, Adult Learners Back to School Basics. As a reminder, you will receive a follow-up email with a survey that we hope you will complete. All presentations and materials shared will be posted on our website, floridashines.org. For additional information, please email us at collegenight@flvc.org. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter @FLShines. Our next session, Student Focus, will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you.